everyone. Welcome to our newest edition of NetGalley and BookTrib present 15 Minutes with, a Merrill-Moss Media production. Today we are chatting with best-selling romance author Denise Hunter. Denise is the author of the Summer Harbor series, the Chapel Springs series, the Smitten series, and a number of wonderful others. She also wrote the popular Nantucket series, of which the Convenient Groom was made into a Hallmark original movie. Thank you so much for joining us, Denise. We're excited to get to talk to you today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on BookTrib.
Absolutely. So let's talk first about Just a Kiss. It's just the absolutely adorable novel. It's the third in the series in the Summer Harbor novels. Can you tell me a little bit about the book and Riley and Paige's story?
Sure. Well, first of all, let me assure readers that even though this is a series, it is also, each of my novels are set up as a standalone so that there's no confusion for new readers. But in previous novels, the reader of the series will know that Riley is in love with his best friend Paige, and his brother ends up dating Paige, and this is very hard for him to watch. Of course, he ends up signing up for the Marines in order to kind of get away from it all, and it's a secret from his brother. His brother doesn't know about his feelings for Paige, and neither does Paige. So Just a Kiss opens just when he's returning from his tour in Afghanistan. Paige is no longer with his brother, and he has intentions of telling her his real feelings. So, of course, once he gets home, everything goes awry, and as romance novels are wont to do. And the story's an evolution of Paige's feelings, really, for Riley.
Well, it sounds very exciting and sweet, and I'm sure it's a excellent continuation of the series. Now, like I said, this is the third book, but as you said, completely can be read standalone. Are we going to see familiar characters from the other books in this one?
Yes, I do. The whole series is basically, it's set in Summer Harbor, Maine, and it features the Callahan brothers, which are kind of the town's most eligible bachelors. And so each story takes their particular love journey, and so in Just a Kiss, you'll see the culmination of each of the other two brothers' love story. But I don't think the reader's not going to feel like they've missed anything.
Got it. So what was your frame of reference for this kind of novel? You talk a lot about vets in Afghanistan. Did you research? Do you have any vets in your life that you were able to go to and ask questions? How did you handle it?
I don't have any vets in my life, not close ones anyway, so I did a lot of research on it. Riley, when he returns from Afghanistan, is suffering from PTSD, which is a very common thing for vets returning home. So I did a whole lot of research on that. I wanted to get it right and do justice to our service members and their families who sacrificed so much.
Absolutely. What's the connecting thread for you throughout the Summer Harbor series? Is there a theme that ties them all together? Is it just the fact that they're in Summer Harbor? What is it for you?
Well, I love a good setting. So part of it is the main setting, of course. I try to take my readers someplace that I want to go for a while, because I think they'll want to go there too for a while. And reading is, it's a vacation in your head, and it's very cheap, when you compare it to the cost of a vacation. So I like to take readers someplace fun and different. And also, I have 3 sons of my own. And so I very much felt connected to these Callahan brothers. And I've had a first-hand, first row seat to sibling rivalry and the way boys, they're complicated in their own way. They don't come out and talk about their feelings. They kind of argue around it. And fuss and fight, and it's just a really different dynamic than with girls. So that was really fun to explore with the Callahan brothers.
Definitely. What do you already have that next novel planned in this series? Is this it, since there are only 3 brothers? Are you stopping the series here? What do you have planned?
Yes, this is the final installment of the Summer Harbor series, and it was really fun because there's a side thread of Aunt Trudy and her love story, and she's got a lot of backstory, and so I've been telling it in the series as I go. And so in the Summer Harbor series, she finally finds her love relationship too, and so it was really fun to wrap that up.
Oh, how beautiful. Now, what about with you in time, writing? You said you have 3 sons. writing when you can. How do you juggle it all?
Well, it's easy now, but when I was starting out, my kids were little, and I devoted my nap time to writing, which meant basically a page a day. So it was very
Wow.
slow going. And I like to tell people that, whatever you have to give toward whatever your dream is, even if it's just a little chunk of time,
Right.
you can do a lot. If you add those chunks of time up over the span of a year, you can have a whole book or whatever it is that
Sure.
you're wanting to do. So I like to tell people to just go for it because the year's going to pass anyway. You may as well have your dream started by the time it's ending. So
Absolutely. Great advice. I'm dying to chat about The Convenient Groom because it really was one of my favorite novels of yours and then made into a Hallmark original movie, which is like my favorite channel on TV. So it was used as part of June weddings. What did it mean to you to have your novel turned into a TV movie?
oh my gosh, it was such a shock when I found out. I was just beside myself. A few years ago, it was actually several years ago, I had written down, I was at a conference, Debbie Macomer was speaking, and she encouraged us all. She gave us these little index cards and encouraged us all to write down our dreams, our career dreams. Well, I'm a mom. Most of my thinking was always about home and life, but this was just my career. So I wrote down three things, the last one being a Hallmark movie. And so I actually still have the card.
Oh my gosh.
When the Hallmark movie happened, I was just beside myself. It was a somebody pinch me moment for sure, and I just felt so blessed.
Absolutely. Do you know why the second book was chosen in the series as opposed to starting with the first? Were you in on that thought process, or did they just say this is the one we want?
The producer chose this one particularly. The series that The Convenient Groom is in, it's called the Nantucket series, but it's actually non-sequential at all. So there's no overlapping characters. So pulling it out of a series was actually very easy. There's no backstory that's not included in the characters' lives, and actually most of my books are that way. They're just written to stand alone.
That's great because then you can at all times bring in new readers. What about the process? Were you involved in the making of the movie at all, or the writing of the script, anything like that? Were you, asked to advise or anything?
I wasn't. Usually they don't with the writer, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't know if you know anything about scripts, but they're very, very different than a novel. And actually, movies in general are very different than novels.
Right.
And it's not my area of expertise, so I was really happy to let them do what they do, and I'll just keep doing what I do. But I actually have a movie coming out, another movie, a Hallmark movie in December called A December Bride. And my husband and I got to go on set for a day, so that was really exciting.
That's amazing. And what was it like that first time? I mean, when it aired in June, what was that like, getting to see that just on the TV and knowing that you were the reason that that movie existed?
It was crazy when they flashed my name up on the screen based on a novel by Denise Hunter. I mean, it was like, is this really happening? It just didn't feel, it almost didn't feel real until I watched it again. And we had friends over, just a few close friends, and I had a Facebook chat with my readers a couple of days earlier, and that was really fun because they're so supportive and wanted to celebrate with me. So
that's amazing. So then we have something to look forward to, I assume, in the Christmas spirit, which we know Hallmark is so well known for. So that's very exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Would you be open to, instead of, say, obviously you're doing another TV movie, but film or even, a TV series? Are those all things that you keep kind of in the back of your head as possibilities?
Sure, I would love for that to happen. But of course, producers get to choose what they want, and they have picks of, millions of books. But so I feel blessed to have two.
Absolutely. Well, you never know. We'll keep our fingers crossed. What about the rest of 2016 for you? Do you have plans for writing or releasing, the next thing after Just a Kiss? What's coming up for you?
Well, I have already finished the book that's after Just a Kiss. It's untitled just yet, but it's coming out next year. And also, I'm right now working on the book after that, which is set in northern Georgia. So
great. That's exciting. What about, I'm curious what you both like to read and what you have kind of coming up for your reading. Do you have like a pile on your nightstand? What's a part of that pile?
Well, I'm a Kindle reader, so it's
Okay.
piled on my Kindle neatly.
In one
I
place.
yes, where I can carry it everywhere I go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mostly I read romance.
Okay.
I like a variety of writers. I like Brenda Novak and Kristen
Mm.
Higgins and Kristen Hanna. And I most recently read Girl on a Train. Really like that. That was outside of my typical genre, but I
Okay.
like to stretch myself a little bit and see what all the fuss is about. So
That's excellent. So you have a couple of delicious sounding recipes on your website. What's the inspiration behind those? So can you let the readers know maybe if they appear in one of their books or one of your books?
sure. There is a Aunt Lola's Dutch apple pie,
Mm-hmm.
which stems from Sweetwater Gap, and it won a baking contest in the book. So
Love
that's
it.
what that's from. And gosh, what was the other recipe? I'm trying to think. I know there's another one on there. Is it the cheesecake?
I know I saw the Aunt Lola's. Was
I,
it? It might have been, yeah.
I think it's a cheesecake, and I do
I
have
think
a
so.
really awesome cheesecake recipe. But
Mm.
I can't remember if I put that in a book or not. But super recipe. The crust is yummy, and
Are you going
I
to
make
add to that recipe list?
I probably will. I'm getting ready to revamp my website,
Oh,
and
great.
I was kind of thinking, what on my website do I want to keep, and what can I let go of? And even though Sweetwater Gap was a book that I wrote quite some time ago, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if readers will really look up the recipe, I think I do want to add to that. I love good sweets, so I know readers do too. So it's a fun thing to have on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What haven't you written yet, whether it be genre or a type of character that you maybe are thinking, one day I might get there. I want to write something like that.
Well, let me think. As far as genre, I am exactly writing what I want to write right now.
Good.
I am in my sweet spot. This is exactly what I want to write. But as far as characters go, I was recently on the 700 Club, and they had, when I was in the hotel getting ready to go onto the 700 Club,
Right?
there was a political convention in the area, and this pack of Secret Service men came in, and it was
Oh,
just so obvious. I mean, they're all in dark suits, black backpacks, big guys, stony faces.
right.
I thought, not for the first time, I have got to write that hero. One day I'm going to write a Secret Service hero.
I love it. Oh, well, maybe 2017 has that in store for you.
Maybe so.
So, what about authors? Are there authors that you keep? I'm sure there's tons and tons of people who have you on that email notification. The second a new book comes out, they have to get it. Are you like that with any particular authors where you can't miss a book?
I'd say I'm that way with Kristen Hanna,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
with
she's fantastic.
Diane Chamberlain, um, Brenda Novak, Kristen
Yeah,
Higgins, pretty much. One of my
absolutely.
favorite authors, but I get her books for free, is Colleen Coble, because she's my crit partner, my critique partner. So I unfortunately have to read her books chapter by chapter and have to wait between chapters. But other than
Oh
that,
gosh, the
at least I
torture.
get them right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what else would you like to maybe let the fans know about, not only about Summer Harbor or about any of your other series that, if they haven't kind of cracked into any of your other series and they're stuck in one, what would you like them to know about some of your others?
The Chapel Springs series is really near and dear to my heart. In fact, two of my favorite books that I'm on my 31st book right now. But two of my favorites are in the Chapel Springs series, and I don't know what it was about that series, but maybe it's because it was set in my home state of Indiana. I don't know, but
Right.
some of those characters just really got to me, and it's special to me.
Amazing. We love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Unfortunately, we are out of time. That's our 15 minutes with Denise Hunter. So thank you again so much for joining us. And Just a Kiss comes out September 6th, I believe. So go out, grab it, and you won't be disappointed. Thank
Thank
you
you, Beth.
again. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Bye
Bye.
bye.